Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a huge, huge, huge day for acrobatics and tumbling. The University of Oregon, one of the pioneering institutions of acrobatics and tumbling, and now after 16 years since the sport's inception, acrobatics and tumbling has been approved as an NCAA championship sport. The decision represents the culmination of an innovative effort with the University of Oregon, which was one of the sport's founding programs in 2011. I remember in 2011, I actually did an interview with Felicia Mulkey. Now, the head coach at Baylor, many of her former student athletes here at Oregon have succeeded her as the head coach. Of course, now Taylor Susnara, maiden name Taylor Galvin, an All-American Taylor Galvin, now coaching the Ducks. The legislation was approved following a consensus vote between Division I, Division II, and Division III to establish a collegiate championship. That was at the NCAA convention in Maryland this week. Across the three divisions, there are 47 universities that currently sponsor acrobatics and tumbling, with more than 1,300 student-athlete participants. As the sport has grown, many of them have come from a gymnastics background or, in some cases, a competitive cheer background. And it's kind of been this melding of a lot of different sport influences, scoring similar to gymnastics and cheer, but different skill sets and different events, heats, that have led to, I would say, one of the most visually pleasing sports. You think about just the pure athleticism that's on display. I've always said, if you want to understand the thrill of acrobatics and tumbling, just watch an Instagram reel of Oregon acrobatics and tumbling, and you're going to be like, wow, how did they do that? And now all of that skill and that athleticism will have an NCAA championship. According to the NCAA, at least 40 schools must sponsor the sport at a varsity level and meet competition and participation requirements before being approved for championship status. Acro and tumbling was named an NCAA emerging sport in 2020 and was recommended for championship status in May of 2025. Acrobatics and tumbling joined stunt wrestling, beach volleyball, bowling, water polo, ice hockey, and rowing as the latest sport to achieve NCAA championship status through the Emerging Sports for Women program. Congratulations. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullins said, quote, "The NCAA's approval of acrobatics and tumbling as a championship sport is a tremendous and well-deserved step forward for a sport that has experienced remarkable growth and momentum." Rob Mullins continued to say, quote, "Oregon has been at the forefront of acrobatics and tumbling since its inception, and we are proud of the leadership role our coaches and student athletes have played in elevating the sport nationally. We look forward to the continued growth of acrobatics and tumbling and the opportunity for student athletes to compete for an NCAA championship in a sport that showcases athleticism, creativity, and teamwork at the highest level." That's Rob Mullins talking about this pretty historic day for Oregon acrobatics and tumbling. The Ducks are joined by Azusa Pacific, Baylor, Fairmont State, Maryland, and Quinnipiac in the inaugural season of the NCATA. That's the National Collegiate Acrobatics and Tumbling Association. The Ducks won the inaugural NCATA championship in 2011, the first of 4 consecutive national titles. The Ducks have continued to set a precedent of success for student athletes in the sport. 53 individual event titles, 14 NCATA championship appearances, including 3 event titles in 2025. Head coach Taylor Susnara began her career at Oregon as a student athlete. She earned 4 individual national championships, was named a 3-time NCATA All-American. Susnara spent 3 seasons as an assistant coach before taking over the head coaching role in 2021. And in 4 seasons, she's led the Ducks to a 19-15 record while winning 10 national event titles. From acrobatics and tumbling competitor to head coach, Susnara exemplifies the progress the sport has made since its early years. And it's pretty amazing. Just listen to Coach Susnara here. She said, quote, "I've been part of acrobatics and tumbling for roughly 12 years. From just about 14 schools to now almost 50, that is true expansion and growth. History is being made, and I couldn't feel prouder to be part of something so special. This sport brings people together. It breeds confidence, and most importantly, it provides opportunity. This vote means more than just another check on a list. It shows power, belief, and support. It's a chance for current and future women to showcase their craft and mold history with the recognition they deserve." That's Taylor Susnara, Oregon Acrobatics Tumbling head coach, on acrobatics and tumbling becoming an NCAA championship sport. So here are the next steps. After the approval today, an NCAA Women's Acrobatics and Tumbling Committee will be formed and begin preparations for the first national championship, which will take place in the spring of 2027. So this year, acrobatics and tumbling will continue under the NCATA, and then in 2027, this new committee will oversee the sport at the NCAA level. The committee will be a sport-specific group that will be responsible for determining championship hosts, formats, and dates, just like any other NCAA sport. The NCAA Board of Governors approved a budget for the National Collegiate Women's Acrobatics and Tumbling Championship in August 2025, with funds that will be allocated to the Division I championship budget. Now, as acrobatics and tumbling progresses towards its first season in the NCAA, Oregon will continue preparations for the upcoming competition this year. Ducks are practicing right now. Ducks will travel to Missouri State for the first meet of the season on February 8th. A competitive home schedule will feature visits from Quinnipiac, Gannon, Iona, and Baylor before making a trip to California for the 2026 NCATA championships hosted by Azusa Pacific. And those will be, emotionally, the final championships hosted by the NCATA. There's been a lot of Oregon influence on this sport. And I got to say, as someone who knew nothing about the sport when I first got to campus, my first year on campus was the fall of 2011. That was the first time I was a student at Oregon, was the fall of 2011. Going to meets, learning about it. And now I'm really proud to say that there's been even broadcast colleagues, former students and interns even of mine that have gone on to really help elevate the sport when its championships were broadcast on ESPN+. We've had so many in even production roles now that have grown with this sport. And so from my chair, I really have to say, this is cool to see a sport that no one really knew anything about just 16 years ago grow to what it is now. How special is that? How special is that? A lot of hard work from a lot of influential people have made it possible. Congratulations to acrobatics and tumbling. 16 years after the sport's inception, it's now approved as an NCAA championship sport. What a time. That's cool. Men's basketball coming up against Michigan. We're going to talk with Coach Altman. He met with the media this morning. Women's basketball, man, some bright spots last night. Down 5 at half, ended up losing by 8, but that big third quarter allowed Iowa to pull away. We'll talk about that, a matchup between two top 25 net teams. I don't know that it really hurts Oregon's resume to lose this game per se, but it's a game that you certainly wanted to win. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk with Kelly Graves coming up. And also, Oregon indoor track and field season is continuing. Head coach Jerry Schumacher, also Aaliyah McCormick, a national champion in her own right. We're going to talk with her coming up on a Busy Duck Insider here on a Friday. Congratulations again to acrobatics and tumbling. Next up, let's hear from Coach Altman. Keep it here. Big opportunity ahead for Oregon men's basketball against Michigan this weekend. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, I left my heart in Oregon. Yeah, I left my heart in Oregon.
Duck Insider is presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack here in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon men's basketball getting ready for a critical homestand. And look, injuries suck. They are the worst part of sports. And yesterday, if you were listening as part of our Toyota Coaches Show series with Coach Altman, he said that it wasn't good for Nate Biddle, and he's not anticipating Nate to play for a while. So as you can imagine, that's where things begin this morning. As Dane Altman over at Matthew Knight Arena met with the media this morning, getting ready for a 1 o'clock game against a really good Michigan team. Michigan's lost one game this year, and it took a absolutely historic three-point shooting performance from Wisconsin to beat them, and they still only lost by single digits. Really good Michigan team under Dusty May. It's on NBC at 1 o'clock coming up tomorrow. We'll have a 12:30 pregame show, myself and Luke Jackson. It's a big opportunity, but it's going to be tough because the first question to Dane Altman this morning is, how's Nate Biddle's ankle?
Oh, it's not good. He's a tough guy because he hurt his – what am I supposed to describe it? Lower body injury, but he's in a boot. So, yeah, obviously it's ankle foot. But he actually injured it second offensive play when he drove it, went down, and tried to play on it. He wanted to play, but you could tell right when we started the second half that, it was really bothering him, so I didn't play him. And we did all the testing and everything yesterday, and there's no breaks or anything, but he's going to be out probably a month, maybe more. So it's not good news. He's, and in his last year, and obviously he's been the guy we've been going through, and so tough break for him, and feeling sorry for ourselves. It's a tough break for our team.
And what about Jackson at this point?
He's still out. He's, he's tried. He wants to go, but his hand. We've had different tests. We're doing another test today. So he won't play this weekend. But you just can't get it feeling right, and it's his right hand. So dribbling and shooting has been a problem.
Is it painful?
Yes.
So what sort of response are you expecting from them tomorrow? Just the team as a whole, coming off that loss.
Well, it's a character check. And I thought we gave into it the second half without Nathan. When Nate went down and the guys, I thought we gave into it. So challenged them in practice. We've got to show some character here. We'll talk to the guys over the years about, you're judged how you handle adversity, and with our 2 pre-season all-conference players and our 2 leading scorers out, how are you going to handle it? So it's going to be tough. We just got to play as hard as we can, try to keep the guys, from getting frustrated. They showed a lot of frustration, I thought, at Nebraska, which we couldn't hit a free throw. We just so we got a team that's, I think, beat 6 teams. I was watching some film last night, and I saw where they beat 6 teams by 40 or more. They're a very explosive offensive team. And so defensively, we're going to have to get back and put our defense together. Guys are going to have to play awfully hard. Offensively, we are going to be limited. We ran so much through Nate and Jackson, and other guys just going to have to pick that up. But again, that being said, we've had some guys that wanted to play more, so here's their opportunity, and we'll see how they handle that opportunity.
What can you expect out of Z on the offensive end? I mean, I understand certainly a defensive presence that he brings, but comparing him to Nate is probably not fair.
No. He's not a perimeter threat like Nathan is. We got to get him, with rebound putbacks. He's gotten better with his post-ups. I think he feels most comfortable, on pick and rolls. So we got to hit some threes to stretch the floor a little bit so we can, maybe get him in a situation going to the basket. We'll play him in short 3-minute stretches to try to keep him fresh. And but no, he's going to get an opportunity to play a lot now. And, I think he's looking forward to the challenge, but it is a big challenge going in with Michigan size, Michigan State size. The next 2 games, Washington, UCLA, all have a lot of size. So, that will be a big challenge for Big E.
Manage the mental psyche of the team with the injuries going through to keep the confidence high.
Well, it's hard. It's not, guys are smart enough to figure it out. I think we've had 7 games where we've had our team, and we lost to Auburn and we lost to Gonzaga with our team. But, other than that, I keep telling fellas, it's not an exact science, but you're going to have to keep fighting. We got 2 months left. So it's realizing that, we're a couple very good players down, and you're just going to have to fight through it. But again, it's frustrating for the players. They came here to win. They looked at 15 years of winning some games, and they came here to win. So, it's tough on the new guys. It's tough on the vets that are here. It's really tough for Jackson and Nate. They're a big part of what we've done here. So anyway, it's difficult for everybody concerned, but it's adversity that we've had to face in the past with injuries. This is kind of unusual because it happens to be our 2 leading scorers.
Danny, when you look at Michigan, obviously they are explosive, like you mentioned. But is there something similar that Penn State did, that Wisconsin did, to slow them down and kind of at least keep those games close? I know Wisconsin won, but Penn State kept them close.
Penn State did a nice job controlling the tempo. Michigan didn't shoot it as well as they've shot it. But no, I don't, we're not going to get up in a track meet with them. Their depth, their talent, we definitely don't want to go up and down, but I think the Penn State score was 72-70, and now Wisconsin, hit the first 7 threes of the second half, that helps. But no, it's not a team that you want to get up and down with because of their talent, size, but, I'm not sure. They run on maids, they run on misses. Our transition D is going to have to be really good. We can't give up easy baskets in transition.
a couple years ago, you played Michigan here before Oregon went into the Big Ten. What do you maybe remember about that game against Michigan here at Matthew Knight Arena, and what are the advantages of having this game at home this week?
Well, I know Jackson hit a big shot. That's about all I remember. But no, it is good to be home. When we got the schedule, when they sent it to us, and I saw the early part of it, I said, "Oof, January's going to be tough." The road trip, coming back, playing Ohio State right away. At that time, I had no idea Nebraska was going to be undefeated. But then the Michigan schools, to Washington, UCLA at home. It was going to be a tough January regardless. And then without Jackson and now Nate, it's become even more difficult. So, no, it's a tough stretch, and we're a little undermanned, so we're just going to have to figure it out.
Nebraska shot almost 50% from three. How do you guys hope going forward to just shore up the perimeter defense?
Well, our perimeter defense has been a problem all year. We don't have the defensive stopper, that TJ Bomba was. We've had, trouble, with that small forward spot, big guard spot, getting stops. Our recognition, they had two guys who hit 14 threes, 7 for 11, two of them, and our recognition on those two guys was not good. So, no, our perimeter defense, like I said, has been a concern all year. The guys we're going to have to get better. Dez, Dev, TK, Way. We're going to have to really gear it up with those guys. They're going to have to be more active. We got to get some more hands on balls, which we haven't gotten. Their offensive rebounding hurt us. But again, we lost in categories. Careless turnovers, 23-4 points off turnovers. First half, they killed us on the boards, So it's 28-28 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. And turnover 3, turnover 2, bad shot 3. It changed very quickly there.
Dana, just stylistically, because you were going through Nate a lot, Jackson was the ball handler, then inside out to get shots forward, Jackson, KJ, and Nathan. Not saying you guys can't run what you run, but how pared back is what you run, or how changed? If you had your team and this is our plays offensively, this is your team now, what percentage of what you do are you down to?
Well, we'll have to, cut it drastically. We had some perimeter shots for Nate, which now, Big E and Sean, so that takes, they're not as good at passers as Nate. Now, Nate's taken some chances here in the last 3 or 4 games. His turnover numbers have not been good, but traditionally he's been a good passer. He's been trying to force some things, trying to make plays that aren't there. But, so it takes out, a lot of the things we'll run through the 5. It'll cut it back, but our execution, and without Jackson wasn't that good. Way has struggled to get us into sets and run stuff. Even with Jackson not shooting it good, if you look at our offensive numbers when he's out there versus not out there, it's a big change. Even though he hadn't shot it that well. And I don't know if that was the 6 weeks he missed before the season or, what, but he hadn't found his rhythm yet. And, he started out last year like that, but then really picked it up. So, we're going to have to cut it back, James, to answer your question. And we're going to have to do a really good job on the boards. And as I mentioned, transition D, we're going to have to get back and put some things together.
Regardless of maybe sets, just how close do you feel like this team is of playing to the standard of toughness and physicality that the past teams have played for?
Well, that's, been up and down too. There's been some games where I really thought, we blocked out. Our block-out numbers were good. Our cuts were hard. Our picks were good. But that's, I talked before about our discipline and our attention to detail. And, with vets, they usually pay a lot more attention to that, and again, our physicality hasn't been what it should be. We went with the big lineup there for a few games to rebound, and that wasn't the result we got. So rebounding is going to be a big concern now without Nate, who our leading rebounder also. So no, it's going to be a struggle. And I told our guys we're going to have to fight it. And we've got some adversity here, and we're going to have to man up and going to figure out a way to, compete, put ourselves in a position to, at the end to steal some games.
Well, here we go. Steal some games. Maybe one of them is on Saturday. So recalibrating now, right? No Jackson Shellstad, no Nate Biddle. Puts a lot of pressure on KJ Evans, a lot of pressure on the rest of the rotation. Minutes will increase. It's still an opportunity. I get it. I appreciate the question about how different is this team from a pure playbook standpoint, right? And the physicality, the toughness, though, that's what you can control, and I know that's what has been a focus for Coach Altman. I, for one, curious to see how they respond against Michigan. That's coming up tomorrow. 1 o'clock, we'll have a 12:30 pregame show for you across the Oregon Sports Network. Next up, let's talk some women's basketball. That was an interesting one last night. We'll break it down on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Boy, I'll tell you, last night, in listening to Chris and in watching the game, Oregon women's basketball, it was a 74-66 loss to Iowa. But, man, it's 18-12 at the first quarter break, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, boy, they're just not in a rhythm yet. And then, next thing you know, it's a 5-point game at half. And I thought, okay, you're on the road, you're down 5, you outscored them in the second quarter. And then that third quarter, Iowa they hit a few shots. It was 24-13 in the third quarter. Oregon did close in the fourth, but just didn't have enough to overcome the gap. 74-66 the final. And it was one of the few games this season where Mia Jacobs and Katie Fiso just didn't score. Fiso, a tough shooting night, 4 of 16. Jacobs was 0 of 4 from the floor. Those two generally score about 30 points a game between the two of them. In this contest, they scored just 10. That was the difference. And I will say, though, Ahisa Tute continues to just get better and better, doesn't she? Ahisa Tute was the only Duck in double figures. She was 6 of 9 from the floor, 15 points with 8 rebounds. I feel like, though, if somebody like Sophia Bell could have gotten hot in this game, that could have been the difference maker. But Iowa just had a little bit too much at home. Again, though, this is the number 11 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes team, a good team, and 2 teams that are top 25 in the net. So I don't think it's a bad loss, but you're going to hear Kelly Graves, well, he sounds like he usually does after a game like this. Chris Clayton talking with Kelly Graves after the loss last night.
Got some foul trouble for some key players, kind of threw off the rhythm. How much of a factor do you think that was in this game?
Well, I think anytime you get early fouls, you start to play a little bit more tentative. And, I think in Mia's case and Ahisa's case, that's what happened. They were pretty tentative. Ahisa's got to figure it out. She's really strong. Sometimes she's just got to control her body better. She gets off balance too much. And she's so strong that she doesn't mean to foul, but just oftentimes does. But this has been an issue pretty much in every Big Ten game. She has to come out early because of foul trouble. So, it's just something she's going to have to figure out. In Mia's case, it was just a forgettable game for her all the way around. 1 point, made the free throw on our first possession or our first point, and that was it for her. Just never got into a rhythm, and defensively, wasn't her strongest game. But I was really proud of a couple of players on our team. I thought the bench did a heck of a job, and I guess maybe I should give them more of a chance. But, it's been tough going. This is second straight game. Ari didn't make a basket, had a great night against USC, but just got to bring it. And I thought defensively we were, took too many chances and got out of position. And, it's just one of those nights kind of snowballed. But then, they built the lead and we cut it. And, again, we kept showing the character that we're made of. But, we did a nice job in some areas, but they were just too strong for us tonight.
Do you think it's something to build on too? With 32 bench points, you had Sarah Barhoom hit some shots. Tuhina had 9. Amina Muhammad, just the team fighting back at the end too with the bench unit in there.
Yeah, and that it's great to see. Number one, and just again goes back to our we had a couple of our key kids just didn't have the nights that you need. And, if you're going to win in an environment like this against a really good team like this, guess what? Your best players, they've got to step up and have those nights. And unfortunately, they didn't tonight. And it's unfortunate. Katie, bless her heart, she just, she works really hard and she just puts so much on her shoulders, and I keep telling her, you got to trust your team. You got to trust your team. I mean, there were literally some of our best possessions were when she wasn't even involved. I think sometimes when she gets it, things slow down and she wants that ball screen or she wants to go. And, she's still a young player making some mistakes. She at least didn't turn it over in the second half. That was a plus. But she's just got to learn to, continue to trust her teammates. I thought we had some good offensive possessions tonight. I thought offensively we played, I don't know what we ended up shooting, 42.6, 43. It was a good shooting night for us. We just, again, some turnovers. It was the defense that let us down tonight, and they had a couple kids go off and score that, we weren't expecting. Addie Deal had a heck of a night. And I tried to challenge our SoCal kids. You can't let that SoCal freshman punk you like that. And she did tonight. She did. So, listen, we've played 6 games. 6 games in conference. 5 of them are against teams ranked. 4 ranked in the top 15.
Yep.
Now, would we like to be better than 1 and 4 against that? Well, of course. But we've played a hellaciously tough schedule.
Yes.
At some point, it's going to even out here. Right. I hope. Wisconsin, I don't know what they did tonight, but
They did lose. Northwestern.
Northwestern got them.
Yep.
So they're going to be excited to get home and play in front of their fans. And I think they've won 3 games. So we need to go up and look for our 3rd win.
Yep. Disappointing right now, but do you think going through these ranked teams, playing in front of a sellout crowd, there's got to be a great learning experience for what's overall a pretty young team?
I think it is. But guess what? We've got to learn from it. We've said the same thing now a couple of times. Are we learning from it?
Yeah.
Are some of our players trusting their teammates? Are they bending their knees? Are they, rebounding? I thought our defensive rebounding was actually a little bit better tonight, especially against a team that has such a formidable front line. But, Chris, you got to learn the lessons, though. That's the key.
Right.
We can't keep saying this. I hope on Sunday we don't have the same conversation.
That's right.
At some point we gotta win some of these games, but it's no joke, man, on this in this Big Ten.
Yeah.
And our schedule's been just crazy. So
6 games, 5 ranked teams. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Yeah.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
bud.
Kelly Graves, Oregon women's basketball head coach. You hear it. I mean, he knows, like, you have opportunities like that in the schedule in the Big Ten. It's tough. Oregon's sub 500 in Big Ten play, still well over 500, a net ranking that's very, very good. The Ducks, I believe, last I checked, were still in the top 30. Maybe Saul looked today. Did you look today? I think they're still in the top 30. Yeah, they lost again to the number 11 ranked team in Iowa. They were 25 in the net going into this game. It's a road loss. But isn't it amazing? We're sitting here in January already starting to talk about resumes and March. That's a good thing. Means the women are in the mix. Coming up, Oregon track and field. The indoor season continues. Going to hear from head coach Jerry Schumacher as the Ducks are in Manhattan, Kansas today. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Oregon track and field. The indoor season continues. The Ducks have a number of student athletes, 3 of them, that are up for the Bowerman already on that preseason watch list for the indoor season, as the Ducks look to build on the momentum that they have, at least in the distance events, coming from the cross-country season. Now, the entire roster competing for the indoor track and field season. They're in action today, and head coach Jerry Schumacher gave us a little update on Oregon track and field.
Off the successful cross-country season, kind of getting the team back together. Now that there's the early December meet, but I know how much you like just having the team all in one spot. Just talk about your excitement level for this weekend's meet.
I mean, obviously, cross-country kind of separates out the distance runners from our track team, and it was a great cross-country season. Third with the women, fifth at, 2 Big Ten titles, and then third with the women, fifth with the men at NCAA. So we were very excited with how that all played out. But to bring the full squads together again and have our entire track team, competing together again is what I always look forward to. So it should be a lot of fun.
Off the cross fitness, how do you guys think everyone did at BU for that first meet of the year?
Yeah, that was just coming off the cross-country fitness away, because at some point all those cross-country runners have to grab a little bit of a break, and to take advantage of that fitness coming off of cross-country was kind of nice. So I thought we probably got a few national qualifiers out of it, which is always important, and they were able to take their break afterwards. So the slow build for the distance runners into the track season will be like it always is, and hopefully the rest of our track team is fired up and ready to go, because they've been training all fall waiting for this moment now.
Jerry, it seems like just maybe last year and this year for sure, there's been a more concerted effort to diversify the team, bringing in Peyton, bringing in Alekna, bringing in Trey Betts. Was that an intentional decision that you felt like you needed to get more point scorers across the board?
I think we value track and field here, and a lot of programs, and it's just the nature of the NCAA today. I think a lot of programs are, becoming very one-dimensional, maybe two-dimensional within the track team. We value every event area, and we want to have a complete track team, and having a complete track team, I think, allows you to have the best track and field program out there. And so yes, has it been an effort to or at least have we thought through that process? Absolutely, but I think that was just a matter of time before we got kind of knew exactly what kind of program we wanted to have and what kind of product we were trying to put out there. And now that we're kind of in that groove, we're making sure that we cover all our bases in all the event areas, and that's what we're trying to do.
For this squad, it feels like there were several athletes just had extended seasons from like last year into the end. Aaliyah was one of those. What's it been like just kind of adjusting maybe the early on schedule to make sure that maybe they're not being overworked, considering that there was so much put on several of these athletes last season and now obviously heading into this one?
Yeah, I think, absolutely. The seasons were carrying on longer, especially with USA's running late into the summer. For some, the World Championships went all the way into September even. We do have to be conscious of that and some of the athletes, and I think all the coaches in their individual event areas took the precautions and the necessary steps in order to let those athletes recover, have a little bit of break, because you want to be fully charged up and ready to go. And I think you could probably tell from talking with Aaliyah, she's ready to go already. And I think all the other athletes who were in the same boat and same experience, they're ready to go as well.
3 athletes on the Bowerman watch list for this program. What does that kind of say about where this program is going right now?
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? I mean, winning the Bowerman's a hard thing, but early on to have athletes on the watch list that everyone's paying attention to and have an opportunity or a chance at accomplishing something like that, yeah, that's exciting. I mean, so that's something we always want to have. I'd like to have more than 3.
Going into an off season, an off year in the Olympic and World Championship cycle, how does that trickle down to the collegiate level?
Going into an off season?
Yeah, just going into like a year when there's not going to be an Olympics or not going to be a World Championship.
And how does that impact?
Yeah.
The collegiate team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that it does that much, because most of the time, collegiate athletes have a very difficult time making a World Championship or an Olympic team. It's usually kind of an older athlete's game at that point. And although it does happen. So I don't know if that impacts us as much. I think the pressure to want to be at the USA Championships or the Olympic trials or the Olympic Games or the World Championships, I think that still exists, and I think that drives those athletes a lot. And so I think there's a little bit of a change with that. I think everyone's a little more relaxed. But make no mistake about it, the collegiate team here, they know that NCAA's, we want to win NCAA championships and Big Ten championships here. So they know that, those seasons come quick. Indoors, I mean, right now we're saying this is the first meet of the season, but before you know it, we're going to be at the championships, and it happens fast.
Just wondering, obviously Elliott run a little over a month ago, obviously in his first race, and it felt like several months. Just how good does it feel to see him obviously back there? Will he be competing, I guess, this weekend? And what does it mean just to have him back on the team, hopefully healthy?
He will not be competing this weekend, but yes, it is fantastic having Elliott back. That 3,000 he ran, that was just a great effort, especially since he wasn't coming off of a cross-country season of fitness. But I think, his season was a little delayed last year, obviously, and not having that outdoor season or the outdoor campaign like we typically would want from him. He had a shortened one, abbreviated with kind of USAs, and he ran well, but I think he really came into the fall and he was motivated to kind of find, even though he didn't have cross-country eligibility, he was motivated to have, good fitness this fall, and I think it showed in Boston, and I think we can expect big things from Elliott this season.
I saw Maddie Elmore's name on the roster. What's the status of her?
Yeah, we're planning on running this season. She's coming back from kind of some time off last spring and this fall. We'll see what that means. We're not going to race until she's ready, and when she's ready, we'll put her in uniform, though.
As far as eligibility goes, does she have a full track season?
Indoor and outdoor.
And what about Maddie?
Maddie Erickson?
Erickson, yeah.
He just has indoors. Yeah, which it hurts because we all love Maddie. Mr. Consistent.
Does Alekna have a role this indoor season, or is he just going to be solely focusing on the discus?
Yeah, he's a discus thrower. So he's been training, preparing, he's doing a great job, and we look forward to seeing him in a duck uniform for sure.
What's it like having a world record holder in your facility?
I mean, I can't even describe it. I think somebody gave me the stat. The last time there was a world record holder on a team, other than Alekna at Cal last year, last time there was a world record holder on a collegiate team, though, before that, you have to go back to, I think someone said it was the 1930s or something. So you have to go a long way back. There's not a whole lot of world record holders on collegiate teams.
How is Coach Bluerich going to try to get him over that hump? Because he's been second at the NCAA championships way too many times.
And I know everyone thinks, oh, you're the world record holder, you should be an automatic 10 points. And I'll take that pressure off right now. Competition, I mean, it's hard. He may be the world record holder, but there's a lot of athletes that are like him that are competitive and talented and strong, and they want to win as well. So, Alekna's a great athlete. I know Coach Blue and him have been working very hard, and yeah, Alekna, he wants to win. I mean, I saw him last year. He was very disappointed in getting second out here, and that's it's part of the game. It's part of being an athlete, and I think they're working hard, and I think Alekna will, hopefully he'll turn the tables this season.
With this weekend's meet, just what are you kind of looking to see from your athletes into this first one? What do you really want to see them accomplish besides trying to win, obviously?
Yeah, this particular meet, I just kind of want to see what the fall training and early winter training has looked like in terms of competition. See that in form. We see it in practice, and we see what they look like, and the reports back from coaches like, we're doing this really well, we're not doing this so well. That's all great, but when you get to see them compete, you just get a little bit more clear look at, okay, here's our event, here's our areas where we need to work on a few things, and I don't have expectations on, we have to do this or that. I just want to see what it looks like, and then from there, I think we can make some changes to whatever we're doing, if they're needed even. Make some changes to make sure we're a better program when the championship part of the year comes along.
I know World U20s is a long, long ways away, but like you said, blink of an eye, could be here now. Are some of the younger athletes on this team thinking about that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Juan Gonzalez earlier today. We want to make that U20 team and compete right out here at Worlds. And I know we have some good high school recruits that want to make the team. And Bodie Lutz in the 800, he's particularly fired up, and he knows it's very hard. I mean, it's a hard team to make, but he wants to give it a good crack too. So I think anytime you have a young and talented duck who knows the world championships are going to be held out here on this track, they want to be a part of that. So
what did you see in Bodie Lutz? Because he just had an awesome end of the season last year.
Yeah. His sophomore year was the year that he popped on paper for us as coaches. I mean, we saw him his sophomore year out here at the state meet, and he stood out. He was, and then honestly, his junior year, he took a step back. He didn't run his traditional 400, 800 events. He was running more 200s, and he was still very good, but it doesn't jump off the paper. If you're going to be a 200-meter runner, we're probably looking for something different here than Bodie Lutz in the 200. But he came back his senior year to the 4 and the 8 again, and obviously it it shined again. And yeah, so you could see the talent from early on. He's a talented young man.
When he took Cooper Lichtenhouse all the way to that very end of that 800 at NON, so that says a lot about him.
Absolutely. And Cooper's, the best we've ever seen in high school in U20 right now. I mean, he ran 142 last summer, so that's outstanding. But like I said, Bodie's not afraid. He's, he works hard and he wants to be part of it.
What would you say is his biggest improvement from the time he came on campus until now?
Bodie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bodie, we're working on strength with him. He was mostly a sprinter. And had a real heavy sprint background. We've been working on strength all fall, and we think strength over time. The big picture goal with Bodie is to develop that aerobic fitness, and he's got lots and lots of speed. We're not going to ignore that part of it, but he's got lots and lots of work in the aerobic development, and if we can accomplish that, I think he'll go far.
One more. What big things can we expect from Abdel after a great fall season he had after winning Big Tens too?
Yeah, I can't say enough about Abdel. I mean, the transformation from when he got here last year to just being one of our team leaders, running with the confidence that he has been running with, not being afraid of anybody up there in the top group in cross country. I think that'll translate to track as well. I think the long aerobic 10K race, over grass really played to Abdel's strengths, but we have a 5 and a 10K on the outdoor track too, so I think he's looking forward to those.
A lot of great updates from Jerry Schumacher as Oregon indoor track and field season continues. They were outdoors at Hayward Field for that interview. We're going to be back at Hayward Field before you know it here coming up in the spring. Time out, Aaliyah McCormick, a national champion in her own right, on the Powerman list. Talk with her after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Here a little bit from Aaliyah McCormick. One of the true stars of the Oregon track and field team has been an integral part of, I would say, the continued growth under Jerry Schumacher. Aaliyah McCormick.
Last year you talked a lot about just kind of going into that junior year, kind of refocusing or putting your mind in the right spot. So after a successful season with your indoor and outdoor season, ending it here with the national title, what's the next step to whether that's continuing to keep that mindset, or is it something different that you're looking at this year?
Well, there's a lot of emotions. I mean, coming from that amazing season, all I want to do is do that again and even better. So, and I'm a senior now. There's so many feelings going through it. I'm not going to be an Oregon Duck after this anymore. I'm graduating, moving on to the next step. So, yeah, I'm definitely just closing in on keeping that peace, keeping that mindset that I had last year, but just working extra hard because it's not going to be easy. I know I have a target on my back. There's a lot of great ladies in this field, and I still want to dominate and I still want to be on top.
What did the off season look like for you?
Oh my goodness. My off season didn't even start until August, and we start school in September. So my training literally started right back up even when I only got a month off. So I literally took a month off because I had been working out since last September all the way to August. It was just a lot. My body was so tired, but I was really proud of just, being able to finish that long of a season healthy. And that's definitely what I want to do for this season as well. But I took a month off. I didn't do anything. I just laid around. I did, do a cheat meal here and there, but I just laid around and relaxed.
What was your cheat meal?
I love a good burger, okay? I really try not to eat it, especially during the season, but I love a good Five Guys burgers, but I'm not eating it anymore.
was there a part of you that was just laying around on the couch or just sitting there be like, wow, I'm not doing anything, right? This is weird.
Yes, it was so weird because my boyfriend, he's actually starts in August. So he was competing and he was working out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to start back up again because everybody is already starting school and I'm just not even doing anything. So I started working out, and then my first workout, I was gassed. I was so tired. I was like, oh my goodness, no, I'm doing so bad. But you know what? Once you start, it's going to be like that. And I know during the season, it's going to get better.
So how's your body feeling going into this weekend?
My body feels good. It feels fresh because, number one, I came off of a great fall training really hard. I was working really hard, and I have great partners with me. I have Michaela DeMello and Annalise Taylor and also Kai, and we push each other to the extent. It's like an NCAA final every time we get on the line at practice. So I definitely feel like my training has been really well, so I feel very fresh and ready to go for this weekend.
During that month off, just how much did you reflect on the season you had and kind of sit back and just appreciate everything you were able to do and accomplish?
Oh my goodness, it was so much reflection. It was literally in awe. Every day my mom would come up to me and be like, you're a national champion. Do you realize like that's forever going to follow me? And I am in awe of that season that I had, which makes me want more of it, which makes me hungry for more. So
that was cool to hear. I heard her say this week. My mom would come up to me and be like, do you even understand? Bravo. Aaliyah McCormick and the Ducks continue the indoor track and field season. They're on the road this week. Going to be at Hayward before we know it. Big weekend for Oregon men's basketball. We'll see you at Matthew Knight Arena tomorrow. Oregon tennis. The men won last night. The women are in action tonight. The men in action Saturday and Sunday. Women's basketball on the road in Madison. We'll see you on Tuesday. 3-day weekend.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga. My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new